Hello and welcome to this Azure Synapse Espresso. Today I'm joined by Filip Popovic, which means Serverless SQL Pools. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic called statistics. If this is the first time you're visiting our channel, please just subscribe to our channel if you like the content, and if you like the video, just give us a thumbs up, and if you would like to see something or have questions about this video, just write them in the comments and we'll get back to you. Now, today, statistics. As everybody knows, statistics is something very, very important when working with database systems. It basically gives you the way to optimize your queries and use less resources, which means increased performance. And that works basically the same still in serverless SQL pools. And that's what Philip's going to explain to us. So Philip, can you enlighten us on how statistics works and what serverless SQL pool does with it and how we can optimize and get faster queries with it?
Yeah, so Serverless SQL Pool got you covered when it comes to statistics. Every SQL has this auto statistics creation feature, which automatically creates statistics that are needed for you. Serverless SQL Pool has it as well, which means when you run a query and the query optimizer sees that it needs statistics to create the optimal execution plan, and the statistics are missing for that column, query optimizer will trigger statistics creation. The benefit of this is that your actual query execution will be faster, but the drawback is that you will experience a penalty in query execution time for the time needed to create the statistics. But it's only a one time. Once one statistic is created, it's reused for subsequent query executions. Here we have a simple query that targets New York City taxi dataset, and it performs a group by a single column and sum by the other one. Let's consider for a moment that I previously did not execute any query. When I execute this one, there are two things that will happen except executing your query. Basically, the statistics will be created, and there will be another action, which is internal cardinality query. Global statistics query means that it is actually an event of creation of statistics triggered automatically by query optimizer. So query optimizer sees that it needs statistics for rate code ID, and it will trigger statistics creation for this column. Internal cardinality query is a query that does two things, meaning it estimates the number of rows by sampling your data. And the other one is that it is calculating average column lengths of character columns if there are character columns in your query. This is pretty much similar to statistics, right? They both work on a sample data. Just take a sample data out of your table and calculate the estimate. So here we have this history of query executions, and we can find a particular one that we were seeing. So basically, you can see that here we executed our query, and also there were internal cardinality estimation and global stats query executed as well. But those are executed automatically. And this means that there is overhead of 37 seconds in this case for your particular query. Next time you run it, it will run faster because the cardinalities and statistics will be reused. Here we have another example where we target the same data set, but this time we target different column. It is a payment type this time. We can see in a query execution history that there was another global stats creation because we targeted another column, but no internal cardinality estimation. The reason is simple. Internal cardinality estimation is already calculated in a previous query execution in the other query, so we don't need to calculate it once again. And in this query, you can see that the statistics creation took 16 seconds, so you can expect that any subsequent query executions will take at least 16 seconds less because statistics will be reused instead of created again. So here we have another data set. It's a taxi data set, but this time all columns are character columns. And we see that actually global statistics are created and there was internal cardinality query as well. So let's discuss why. Global stats are created, although we use the same column, which is payment type. Global stats were recreated because they have a different schema. So statistics are tied to a particular table, particular column, and a particular data type. Internal cardinality query is triggered once again because those columns are character columns, and in Parquet, Serverless SQL Pool recognized columns as varchar 8000, which means as a large strings, right? And internal cardinality query triggers for character columns to understand the average column length. So most likely your columns are not that wide, right? Especially in a taxi data set. So we need to calculate average column length to get a better, more precise resource estimations and consequentially optimal execution plan. We can confirm in the history of executed queries that actually internal cardinality estimation and global stats creation triggered indeed. So the next time you execute this query, there will be no stats creation, recreation, and internal cardinality estimation will not trigger because we already calculated it, and it will be just reused.
Okay, so awesome stuff, Philip. This basically means that we don't need to specify any character columns anymore because it automatically does that, right?
Well, yeah, there was an improvement in May this year, which introduced this cardinality estimation and average column length calculation. So for character columns larger than 100 bytes, it will trigger the average column length calculation. But for the columns that are not that large, it will not trigger. So it's not like you should not care about schema. Yeah, if you want to move to production, ideally you would specify a proper schema. It's just that with this feature we improved ad hoc queries and exploration of your data. So you no longer care about schema as you were used to do that before.
Okay, great. And now we've got this automatic statistic creation. Is there any cases where we still need to create our own statistics?
Yes, statistics automatically created for Parquet files, both open row set and external tables. And today, statistics are automatically created for CSVs in open row set, not in external tables. So let me show the demo. So here we have a simple query that works on top of TPCH data. It joins customers, orders, and line items, and shows the top 10 customers with the least number of rows in a line item table. And what is specific for this particular query execution is that we didn't create statistics upfront, because as we said, for external tables on top of CSVs, there is no auto create statistics feature today. So this took 2 minutes without statistics. So how we can improve that? We can create statistics manually for this external table on top of CSV. So I create statistics for all the columns that are mentioned in joins, group bys, order by, distinct, and the where clause. So you can find that in documentation as well. We will share the link to a statistics article in the description. But the important point now is that this very same query, after statistics are created, took just 53 seconds. So it's like 50% faster, right? Only just by creating statistics.
Awesome. So thank you very much, Philip, for explaining this. So basically this means that Serverless SQL Pool's got you covered in about 90% of the cases where it automatically creates statistics and even estimates your data types. Next to this, you need to remember that if you're using external tables on CSV files, you will need to create statistics yourself. As you can see, it gives you a 50% improvement in your queries. If this was the first time visiting our channel, please subscribe to the channel if you like the content, like our video if you liked it, and if you have any specific questions, just type them in the comments and we'll get back to you. As always, from the Synapse Espresso team, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.